Hey, I'm Dave, guitar player for Theory of a Deadman. If you're not in the now, you're in the nothing.
So you guys are out playing the Kansas State Fair tonight?
Is that where we are?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like you guys have been doing quite a few like state fairs and shows like that.
Yeah, we started doing some state fairs last summer, and we love it. We think it's a great pairing for us. They're kind of cushy in a way. You know, you're like the only band. You play early every night. It's like 7:30. We're on tonight. So it's like playing the daylight hours. So it's kind of weird in some respects, but the shows are really cool, and it always opens our audience up. It brings a bunch of people that maybe wouldn't come to a Theory of a Deadman show otherwise. So it's been a really cool experience for us playing a lot of these state fairs. And we weren't planning on doing any touring this year, and we just told our agent, hey, let's put some feelers out for some state fairs in the summer. Let's just get out and play in the summer. So we've been doing a bunch of them this year as well.
I know you guys have been working on some new material.
Yeah.
Were you guys getting kind of stir crazy, kind of being in the studio and working on stuff?
Well, we're not in the studio yet. We're still just doing the writing and emailing stuff back and forth and getting together and jamming from time to time. But I think we're going to start fast tracking it starting the beginning of October. We're going to start getting going and probably actually get in the studio more likely November.
Nice.
I'm excited though for some new material.
Yeah, I know some of the fans.
Yeah.
They're definitely ready for some new Theory stuff.
Oh, we always try to say we do it for the fans, but selfishly we do it for ourselves.
Oh yeah.
You want to be able to play new material too.
Exactly.
We're the ones that are playing it every night, so we're ready for some new stuff.
Mm-hmm. So how would you say some of the new stuff is comparing to the previous Theory stuff?
I'll get some heavy stuff on this record, man. It's gonna be a heavy record, I think, for us. And of course, there's still, we're a band that it is who we are, and we do like to play, some mellow songs and be kind of diverse. But I think we're all just feeling like playing heavy music right now for some reason. So the album's gonna probably lean a little heavier than it has in the past. So I'm excited about that.
Nice. Kind of give the Theory fans a different perspective of you guys.
Yeah, perhaps. It's like lyrically, it always sort of depends on what's going on in Tyler's head at the time of writing. But he's been writing some really great lyrics, so I'm pretty excited to see some finished products once we get out of the studio.
Nice. So what are you looking at, like maybe a spring release for the new record?
Yeah, I think so. We're hoping maybe we can be on the road in February, March, have a single at radio in January, and be releasing the record in March, maybe.
Nice.
That would be great.
Yeah, perfect. Get you guys ready for the big summer tours.
And then just tour for the next 2 years straight.
Yeah, kind of like
years.
you guys always do. Another one of my favorite things is that you guys are I consider one of my, I call road dogs, who are always out touring. Even if you don't have a new record out, you're still out there doing what you do.
Well, you know how important it is nowadays. We know, I think we've sort of learned it right out of the gate in 2002 that it was going to take a lot of touring and to build our band. And I think that just with what's happened as far as internet downloading, this and that, you really have to offer people something they can't get online, and that's to experience a live show. So you need to be touring.
Mm-hmm.
So we consider ourselves road dogs too, but I think for the most part we just love being on the road, and we're one of those bands that we really still get along well. And it's not, like some bands, they just don't want to go on the road because they hate each other or hate touring or whatever the reason is. We're the opposite. We just love being on the road.
Kind of like what people say is like the family unit. You guys are more like a family than
we really are. I noticed that when you go on the road for like 8 weeks, you start missing people back home, but then you go home and it's like home for 2 weeks. I start missing all these guys out here. I spend so much time with them that it's just strange to be at home and not seeing them.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about your guitars. Have you got anything new lately, or?
I haven't really got anything new that lately. I'm trying to think. I bought a Fender Telecaster recently at home, probably within the last 4 months. That's really the only guitar I bought. It's a 1973.
Oh, nice.
And it was just in a guitar shop, local guitar shop near my house. So I took a couple guitars in, traded a few in, and bought that one.
Nice.
That's about it. Everything else is pretty much the same. I feel like once I found the guitars that really worked for the songs, it was just like a matter of just maintaining them and using those. But with the new record, maybe there'll be some new tunings or new guitars next cycle.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you had to have one guitar that you could be the only guitar that you take out on the road with you, which one would that be?
Well, I only have one Les Paul, and hands down, it's my favorite of all my guitars, all my electric guitars. So it would have to be my Les Paul, which is tough because I got a few other guitars that come pretty close seconds, but it's just nothing like my Les Paul.
Now let's talk a little bit about some guitar players prefer the electric over the acoustic. What's your view on that?
I don't really prefer one over the other. I would say that I play a lot more acoustic guitar when I'm at home. If I'm sitting at home, it's just acoustic guitar all day. And I have a little amp and electric guitars in one of the rooms in my house, but I still just go and grab the acoustic guitar. I don't know why, it just feels like it's, that's nice weather outside, open door, acoustic guitar, it just seems to make sense. Of course, then when I'm out here, it's playing a ton of electric. So it depends on the circumstance, I guess. But I definitely think I play a lot more acoustic than I play electric.
What about preference, 6 or 12 string?
No, 6 strings. I have one guitar that's double neck that's got 12 strings, and I took the 12 strings off and just put 6 strings on and just 2 6-string necks instead. I like the 12 string. It's just that it's just such a specialized sound. You only use it for certain things. Right?
Nice. Now I know something that we always talk about is you're a big vinyl collector.
Yeah, I got a record player right out
there.
there.
Yeah, I noticed that. Come across any new and unusual albums since we last talked?
What have I got recently that I maybe didn't have before? It's a tough question. I don't remember what I had before. I probably have. We'll have to go thumb through it after. But I'm always collecting every time I go. We were just talking about tomorrow. We're in Lincoln, Nebraska, and there's a record shop right down the street from the club we're playing at.
Nice.
All right, good. Buy
That'll
some
give
more
you some
records.
shopping time.
Yeah, but I don't. Offhand, it's hard for me to think. I got the new Old Crow Medicine Show, Carry Me Back to Virginia vinyl, which I play a ton right now.
Nice. It's a good band.
It's one of my faves.
Yeah, definitely.
Faves.
On that subject of favorite bands, what other maybe new bands or other bands that you're listening to right now?
I've been spending a lot of time at home and just really getting into a lot of my buddies' bands. One of my buddies is having a CD release party next week for his band. They're called the rock band called Time. So I gotta go check out their CD release and they're releasing vinyl as well. So I'm excited to buy that. Other bands. What am I into these days? I've been listening to, like I said, a lot of Old Crow and a lot of bluegrass and country music recently. I don't know why, it's just been infecting my brain, so I've been enjoying that. Still a lot of the same. Alice in Chains released a new record, which I was pretty excited about it and been listening to that quite a bit, so there's some bands.
Definitely. Now, you guys do quite a bit of the festival gigs. Recently, the Throttle Fest, KC.
Yep.
You guys are always one of the Kansas City favorite bands up there.
It was a great show too. Some pretty exciting stuff happening with the Jackal Boys. He had like a crane lifting his Harley over there onto the stage and stuff like that. Some pretty interesting stuff. But it was a good time, as usual. And we're not far from Kansas City now, a couple hours, I'd say.
Yeah, about 3 hours,
Yeah.
something like that, yeah. So, what about other gigs you guys got coming up? You're just doing, because I noticed...
This is it, man. Three shows this weekend, and then we're off to do the record, and that's probably it for the year. I think we're doing maybe one show in November in Toronto, and that's it.
Wow.
So 4 shows. This is the countdown. This is number 4.
Nice. And then locked up in the studio.
Yeah, and then it's just focus. Yeah, this summer's been a lot of fly dates, right? So not a ton of bus time. It's been a lot more flying, and that stuff it's pretty taxing. When you start doing it every weekend and you're flying on 4 or 5 times a week and playing shows in between, it starts taking it out of you. But what it really does is just takes your focus away from what it is we're trying to do, and that's just work on a new record. So it's time to stop playing shows. The summer's coming to an end. Start focusing on the record, and next year it'll just be back at it.
So working with the record label, are they pretty lenient on getting you guys back in the studio, just kind of letting you do it on your own?
It's a little different this time. We've got a few things have changed with the label, with Roadrunner Records, and Atlantic Records is taking over a lot more and getting more involved, and we've had a change of A&R guys, and so a lot of stuff's changed for our band right now, and we're kind of just feeling out the process. It is a little different than it's been in the past. But you know what, we're in that stage where we're just writing and demoing songs and sending them in, and I think that everyone's pretty excited. So we don't expect there'll be any issues, but we just don't know quite yet. We'll just have to wait and see. But I think this day, if we've put out 4 records, we kind of hope that our label and everybody would have some faith in our ability to release another good record. So.
Now, is it odd for you guys having built relationships with the people that you have been working with in the past, and then having these new people come in who may or may not be as familiar with you guys?
Yeah, it's a little odd, but with a lot of the same stuff, a lot of the stuff is the same, I should say, with Roadrunner. The radio department, who are the people that we really spent a lot of our time with, are still the people that will be working us at radios, so that hasn't completely changed. It's weird, but I don't think it's bad. I mean, I really think sometimes you get too comfortable when everything just stays the same for too long, and I think it's important sometimes to have something put you on edge, have something make you feel like maybe it's going to take a little something different this time, or it's not
push you up another level.
Yeah, it's not always better to just be comfortable. Sometimes you have to be a little uncomfortable and force yourself into wanting to exceed and excel with the new circumstances.
Now, what about I know Theory does some charity work. Are you guys involved with anything right now, charity-wise?
Well, we're doing that Habitat for Humanity, which we had built up, basically selling those wristbands, built up a fund, and the plan is actually when we're in the studio, maybe in November, to do a house build with the money that was raised, and so we'll be filming all that and probably, putting it out somewhere online or showing people, and pretty excited about that too. I've never really been a part of anything like that. We're going to see if we can try to bring some people in, maybe some hockey players or something out of LA to come in and swing some hammers, but we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited about that. Otherwise, nothing else on the horizon, but once we're done with the Habitat build, I'm sure we'll want to get something else going.
Now, how did that whole thing come about with Habitat?
I think that we just decided that it had been such a long time since we'd really done anything, and we just started researching some things, and that's just kind of the direction we went in. I think if we were to decide again, who knows, maybe we'd go like SPCA or whatever it is, do something for animals, or who knows, right? Like for us, we're we have a lot of things that we're all interested in, and things that we all care about, and different medical things, got diabetes in the family, who knows, there's so many different
That's me.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to go about doing different charities, and there's obviously so many causes that need the money and need people championing for them, so we'll see, who knows what it'll be next.
Nice. Let's talk a little bit about over the last couple of years, social networks have kind of taken over the whole internet.
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, Reverb Nation, whatever.
Yeah.
What's your personal thoughts and opinions on those?
I think it's good. I mean, I don't use Facebook. Never have had a Facebook page in my life, and I don't have Twitter, so I'm not really very active myself. But I think that I don't hate it, what it's done for music like a lot of people do. I think that it's good. It helps a lot of young bands and talented bands reach an audience. But it's also a great way for the band to know what's happening in the world with your fans. Like, we know that we have a ton of fans in England that want us to come back there. Why? Because they tell us over and over again on Twitter, come back here, come back here. So I think that those kind of tools are great, because we just turn around and take that stuff right to our management and say, hey, we have 100 people on our Twitter that are begging us to come back to England. When are we going to get back there? And it's one of those things where it just kind of really it really connects you with your audience, which is good and which is also bad, because you start to lose a little bit of the mystery behind the bands that you love, and they you have fans sometimes come up and it's like they've almost got an expectation of what you owe them before they've even met you, and you're like, man, I don't even know who you are. How do you know me, and how come I owe you all this? So it's good and bad, but for me, I just take everything and put a smile on and enjoy it. It's been a good ride. So keep watching it change and see what's going to happen next. Yeah, it's hard to foresee the future. Everything changes so much in this business, and in the 10, 11 years we've been in it, it's changed just drastically. So I can only imagine it's going to change again over the next 5, 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, this is going on my 26th year I've been in the business, and
Yeah, you see the
Man.
change, you know.
I've seen the ups and downs
Yeah.
and ins and outs, and it's kind of crazy how it kind of makes a circle around at points. And
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're coming back to an era that's similar to like the '60s when singles were king. It's
Mhm.
like, you know, we're sort of in a time where we have a record contract that's almost archaic for the time that we're in now for music.
Mhm.
But I really think that, you know, what you'll start to see is bands recording 3 songs, releasing the 3-song single on iTunes, and touring for 3-4 months on that, and then going back in the studio and doing it again.
Mhm.
Then that's kind of like what used to happen in the '60s, just record a bunch of singles and go tour your single.
Yeah.
So for some reason, I think that just because of how it's working, you know, people aren't as into albums as they used to be, and people are just more into the songs they're hearing on the radio or wherever they're hearing them, and that's, I don't know, but you know, again, that could be a year or two, and then something else could be going on, who
Mhm.
knows?
I know Nikki Sixx recently put out had a big to do about he's trying to get all the Crew fans to go out and buy full-length albums instead of just singles.
Right,
And because everyone seems to just be buying singles.
right.
And he's like, it's hurting the music industry.
It is, but unfortunately, it's almost changed the music industry, because what happens is people don't spend the same amount of time on their record as they used to. Now they just focus on the singles, and then
Mhm.
you end up getting more filler in records. I think the onus also lies on the bands to put all their time and effort into their songs and write a complete record. You know, like, don't try to write a record that revolves around 3 singles. Write a record where any song could be a single.
Mhm.
So that's how we've always focused, you know, just dive in and make sure that every song gets the same amount of attention from the producer and the band as the singles will, and don't pick the singles before the record's done being recorded, because how do you even know what's going to be a single, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that, you know, Nikki Sixx is right, people don't buy records anymore, but the onus lies on a few different people, and the bands is one of them. You gotta, if you want to sell a full record, write a good full record.
Mhm. Yeah.
Make people go listen to it on iTunes and not be able to not buy it. You know?
Mhm. Now, over the last few years, I mean, you guys have been moving on to radio. I mean, you guys have been like a radio success. With like, I mean, not very many bands can put out a record and have 3, 4 singles, 5 singles off it. And you guys have kind of been lucky to be one of those bands that have multiple singles off a record. That surprised you that radio has kind of accepted you like that?
I don't know that it's a surprise. I mean, I feel like we work towards that, and we have great relationships with a lot of these people at radio, and you know, we listen to them as much as they listen to us, and they, you know, they tell us what their listeners are liking, and if they're playing our music and they're liking it, that's great. I think that you know, like I said, it's an ongoing relationship, and you know, with Scars and Souvenirs, we had 8 or 9 singles or something off that
Yeah,
record,
nice.
and I think that was a surprise that for one album you'll continue to see radio support for so many singles, but you know, I think that radio's in the same boat. They want their listeners listening, and they'll play what the listeners want, and hopefully what the listeners want is to hear Theory of a Deadman.
So it seems to be that's the case.
Well, that's good for us right now.
I mean, I know like local radio, like T95 out of Wichita.
Yep.
Those guys are one of your biggest supporters, and 98.9 up in Kansas City,
Yep.
and
Well, you know, it's like you say, it's so important, the relationships you make, and you know, it goes back to just never saying no. You know, we've always been asked, hey, you guys want to do an interview? Hey, you want to go karting with winners? You want to go do this? You want to do that? We're like, yes, yes, yes. You just never say no. You want to keep yourself open to every opportunity, and build great relationships with people. And same with media. It's like you just can't say no to doing interviews, because you know, it's promotion. You're promoting your own band. Like, if you don't want to do it, then like, what are you doing in this business, really? So
yeah. Let's talk a little bit about keeping yourself busy while you're out doing shows. And I know you got your records out with you.
Yeah.
You seem to always have those hooked right to you.
yeah.
Video gamer.
Yeah, we just, in fact, just 2 or 3 days ago, the brand new NHL EA Sports hockey game came out. So we just played our first 2 or 3 games of that on the bus
nice.
a few minutes ago.
Broke it in.
Broke it in, yeah. It's you know, it's a little new for us, so we had to work it out a bit. But you know, lost a few games, but we'll turn it around.
So who out of the band is better than somebody else, or who are the better players?
You know, everyone sort of dogs on each other when nobody's around. But you know, we all play on the same team, which is funny because people always assume who's winning. We're like, well, we're all on the same team. So we all play
So you all are
positions.
winning.
Yeah, we all play positions, and we all like, you know, try to communicate and play as a team. But we get frustrated with each other all the time. You start yelling at guys, come on, pass the puck. What do you carry it all, do it all yourself? You know, that kind of stuff. But
Each guy have a specific position that they
Yep.
always play.
yeah, pretty much.
What about yourself? What do you
I usually play, well, because in hockey there's 5 skaters and we only have 4 guys. So the 3 guys usually lock and I float the other 2 positions. So I usually play left wing and left defense, and I play forward and a defense.
Nice.
Tyler plays right D all the time. He's our solid D man.
Nice.
Joe's right wing and Dean plays center.
Nice.
Because Dean's a puck chaser, so we just let him.
Well, so I guess I'm never going to challenge you guys to a game.
I know, we got an open slot and you just get you on the team. Put you on left D.
Ooh,
Just hit guys and get in fights.
nice. So theory with in the now on the same team.
Same team.
That'd be interesting.
Sounds like we could win a cup.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. Man, I think that about covered everything.
It's good to see you again. I
Yeah,
appreciate,
definitely,
you know,
yeah.
like I say, I always appreciate you guys wanting to talk to us too, especially after 10 times in 10
Yeah.
years. So
You know, I figure it's our 10th anniversary, man. You know, it's like, you know, I've never missed an interview with you when you've been in my area, and this is the first time you're actually in the town that I live in.
yeah, you right around
So
here.
yeah, I didn't even have to go
Didn't have to go too
Wichita,
far.
so,
That's nice.
You know, it was you know, it's a good thing to celebrate.
Were you sticking around for the show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Why would I miss it?
Yeah, these are fun shows, man. They've all been
Yeah.
pretty good. It'd be interesting to get some good pictures or something with the
Anything?
daylight.
Any surprises on these type of shows? Or
No, these shows have actually. There's nothing real crazy. We're doing a cool Alice in Chains cover.
Nice.
Acoustic. We do acoustic during the set, so we do a little acoustic thing. But we've done that in the past, and I think that sort of the downside to us doing these fly-in shows and stuff is that you don't really get a lot of opportunity to jam a bunch of tunes and change your setup a lot. So we've been playing the same set for a while, which I think is another thing that pushes us to really want to get some new material. Is play the same set and it almost becomes a little bit of a routine for you, so you're like ready to change it up and get some new stuff. But yeah, nothing that you probably haven't seen before, but we'll see.
And I've 10 interviews with you, and I've seen Theory 37 times.
Seen us 37 times?
Yep.
That's probably the record. You probably have seen us more than anybody else.
I don't know about that, but I'm definitely a diehard fan, and you know, always going to support the band.
Hey, well, we appreciate you, you know, writing about us, talking about us, doing all this stuff, man. It's kick ass.
Oh yeah, man. Well, we appreciate what you give us for music entertainment, man.
Well, hopefully you'll enjoy the next record too, and we'll see you next year.
Definitely looking forward to it.